Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're kicking off with a topic that's at the very heart of amateur radio bands. Now, if that sounds a little abstract, think of the radio spectrum like a giant highway. And these bands? They're the lanes where your radio signals can, drive. Without them, nothing gets where it needs to go. Pretty wild, right? So let's break it down. Radio frequencies are measured in hertz. In other words, hertz are how we count the cycles per second of a radio wave. If it helps, imagine counting the beats of a drum, getting faster and faster. The more cycles per second, the higher the frequency. Easy enough. And from AM radio to Wi-Fi, every kind of communication has its spot on this giant highway. For amateur radio operators, though, things get split into three key segments: HF, VHF, and UHF. These are the bands that unlock your potential, whether you're calling across the globe or just chatting in your neighborhood. But wait, why three? Well, each band behaves differently, which makes them perfect for different kinds of communication. We'll get into it more soon, don't worry. Now, let me share something fun. A friend of mine, Sarah, a total newbie to ham radio, told me this great story. During her very first field day event, she used HF to make contact with someone thousands of miles away. She was buzzing with excitement, like, I can't believe I just talked to someone in Germany from my backyard. Moments like that really show you how magical this hobby can be. You get to step into this global community on a whole new level. So as we move forward, keep that excitement in mind. Let's break down the big three bands, HF, VHF, and UHF, so you can see how they work and why they're so essential. So, let's get right into HF, high frequency. This band spans 3 to 30 megahertz, and it's got something pretty special going on. HF signals can bounce off the ionosphere, basically a layer high up in the Earth's atmosphere. It's like playing catch with a wall. The signal goes up, bounces back, and travels really far. This technique, called skywave propagation, is what makes HF the go-to for long-distance communication. Here's an example to make it real. Shortwave radio stations rely on HF to broadcast news and even music across continents. As an amateur radio operator, this is how you could connect with someone on the other side of the world. Imagine having a conversation with someone in Japan without ever leaving your backyard. Pretty amazing, right? Now let's move on to the next band, VHF, or very high frequency. This one covers 30 to 300 megahertz, and it's a real workhorse when it comes to local communication. Unlike HF, VHF is all about line-of-sight transmission, meaning the signals travel in straight lines and don't bounce around in the atmosphere. It's perfect for chatting with someone in your town or across a nearby city. Think about FM radio. That's VHF in action. And here's another cool example. Air traffic control uses VHF to coordinate flights. For amateur radio operators, VHF is excellent when you're working with local repeaters. These repeaters extend your range a bit, but the focus is still on connecting with nearby folks. Then we've got UHF, ultra-high frequency, ranging from 300 megahertz to 3 gigahertz. UHF signals don't travel as far as the other two, but they've got a unique superpower. They're great at piercing through obstacles like buildings and other structures, which makes them perfect for urban environments. For example, if you're using a handheld radio in a busy city, you're almost certainly working with UHF. Walkie-talkies and some cordless phones use UHF for this very reason. It's super practical in places where there's just too much interference for other bands to work effectively. It might not have the range of HF or the straightforward reach of VHF, but UHF is a rock star when it comes to local, on-the-go communication. All right, let's bring it all together with some fun ways to really lock in what we've covered about HF, VHF, and UHF. Picture this. HF is your flashlight. It shines really far, like seriously far, great for long distances, but it's not exactly ideal for lighting up something super close to you. That's HF in a nutshell, perfect for reaching across borders, maybe even oceans, via skywave propagation. Then we've got VHF. Think of VHF like your trusty desk lamp. It might not light up the whole room, but it's absolutely perfect for focusing on your workspace. That's why it's the go-to for local communication. Talking to folks around your town or within nearby cities, line-of-sight style. And UHF? Oh, this one's my favorite. UHF is your laser pointer. It doesn't go super far, but it's sharp and precise, cutting through obstacles like buildings or even dense urban environments. Ideal for handheld radios when you're on the move or working in tight spaces. Now, choosing the right band is all about what you're trying to do. Let's say you're at home and want to chat with someone across the globe. HF has got your back. But if you're at a local event or need to coordinate something nearby, VHF is probably your best bet. And if you're wandering around a city or working indoors, UHF is the way to go. It's kind of like using the right tool for the job. Hammer for nails, screwdriver for screws, and so on. Speaking of picking the right one, let's test your knowledge real quick. Which band is best for long-distance communication? Is it A, HF, B, VHF, or C, UHF? Take a second to think about it. Got your answer? The correct choice is A, HF. Remember, those HF signals are the ones that can bounce off the ionosphere, giving you incredible range. This is why it's perfect for chatting with folks far, far away. And with that, we wrap up today's episode of Ham Radio 101. By now, you should feel pretty confident about HF, VHF, and UHF and how they fit into the world of amateur radio. Whether you're daydreaming about talking to someone across the world or gearing up for your next hike with a handheld radio, you're one step closer to mastering the airwaves. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe for even more episodes packed with tips, tricks, and practice as you prepare for your amateur radio technician license. Until next time, keep exploring and experimenting with those frequencies. Over and out.